Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. You may have seen in previous videos that I made this fireplace and some furniture for a Barbie doll living room. I know what you're thinking, those walls are looking incredibly bare. I think that the fireplace should continue all the way up the wall, and above the lounge I think a window will look great. So join me today while we add some final touches to this cozy little room. To start, I'm going to laser cut the window frame using 3mm MDF. Now look at how thin the laser can cut the wood. It's so accurate, which is why I love using it for my dollhouse creations. Next, I'm cutting out the trim that will go around the window and the parts that will become our chimney for the fireplace. Alright, so I have my flat pack for the chimney. I used a website for the cut file. I think it's called makercase.com. It's really easy. You can just input your measurements for the box you need. You can choose whether you want it open or closed. I chose open as the side that will be against my wall is not needed. So now I'm going to glue this together using super glue. And now that it's glued together, I'll give it a quick sand and then it's ready for some paint. I'm just going to cover the wood with an undercoat. It doesn't need to be perfect as I am planning on covering the chimney with bricks. However, this colour will be seen in between the little gaps. I left the paint outside in the sun and now it's all dry, so let's get back to the craft table. To make the bricks, I'll be using scrapbook paper. Luckily at the time I bought about 4 copies of this same book, so that means I can easily match the same marble design that I used on the base. I can't remember what size I cut the bricks before, so I'll quickly measure them before I start. Okay, so they're about 38mm long. And it's a little bit tricky to get my ruler in here, but it looks like 13mm high. To start cutting out the bricks, first I'll measure 13mm in, and then using my utility knife with a new blade, I'll cut out the first strip. Then I'll mark every 38mm along the strip and then cut these out. Okay, so we have our first few little bricks, but we need a whole lot more. so I'm going to be going a little bit faster this time and cut out all the strips first. I'll be using one strip to line up my ruler and then continue this way, saving me from measuring out each one. And now that is done, it's time to cut the other way. I'll stack a few on top of each other and line up one brick with my ruler, then cut. If I wasn't using my phone to film this, I'd definitely put on YouTube to keep me from getting bored. Finally done. Time to move on to gluing the bricks onto the chimney. For this, I'll be using PVA glue, adding a little to the wood and a little to the back of each brick. I'll be starting from the bottom and I'll do one row, and on the next row I'll move over half a brick to give that staggered brick pattern. Now that's complete, I'll use a blade to cut off the overhanging bricks to neaten everything up. Wow, I'm really happy with how it looks so far. Next, I'll work on covering the two sides using the same method. Here's how it looks before I trim off the sides. And that's the chimney for the fireplace complete. Time to see how it looks together with the base. I think it looks a lot better going all the way up the wall. I might add some artwork to the center of it to break it up a bit, but for now, let's get started on the window. The trim pieces fit nicely around the window, and I also made these little brackets for the curtain rod. For the rod, I'll be using this round wooden dowel that I got from my local craft store. To glue the trim pieces together, I'm using super glue. And to help me align the corners, I've cut out this 90-degree jig to help me out. Now with that glued together, I'll double check that the window still fits inside. And that's a yes! Now I want to paint this part black and then the trim white. So let's take these outside to be painted. While I'm waiting for the paint to dry, I had a look on Canva and I found a photo that I'd like to use for the window. So I'm printing that out now. The paint is now dry, so let's head back to the craft table. I've trimmed off the white edges, and for the glass effect, you can use a piece of clear packaging plastic or acrylic, but today I'm going to try laminating it instead. So now I'll trim off the edges and glue this to the window frame. I'll glue these brackets onto the frame as well. I'm so happy with how it's coming together. It might be hard to see on camera, but laminating the photo has given a nice glossy shine, and I think the window looks super cute. I'll be using this lace fabric that used to be a life-size curtain and turn it into some tiny shears for the dollhouse. This curtain already had a rod pocket sewn in, so I'm going to take advantage of that by stitching a new seam to create a smaller pocket for our mini curtain rod. Now that the curtain is cut to size, I'm going to trim away the extra fabric just above the seam. I'll be placing the window just above the lounge, and I think with the curtains tied back, it'll look really pretty. The room could definitely use an indoor plant. I personally love indoor plants myself, so of course the dolls need one too. I picked up this kit from Spotlight. It doesn't say what size it is, but for $3 I thought it was worth the try. This is the little pot plant it comes with. It is pretty small, so I think I'll just go ahead and make the plant and then 3D print my own pot for it to sit in. The glue that came with the kit was taking so long to dry, so I switched over to super glue. And I also found it handy to use a small clamp to keep the wires nice and steady. It turned out great. I printed this cute little pot, and now I'll use the foam that came in the kit and hot glue the wire in place. Here's our miniature indoor plant all complete. The rocks add a really nice detail. Let's go see how it looks in the doll room. Now for the artwork that I wanted to hang above the fireplace. I have this canvas paper that I'll use to print out a picture. I'm hoping that the texture of this will make it look like a realistic painting. So let's give it a go. Wow, that's amazing! I haven't printed on this paper before, but I love the texture of it and I'll definitely be doing this again. Okay, I painted the frame gold, let's check it out. Now I'm just going to trim the painting down to size. I'll hang it right above the fireplace to add a little contrast and break up the brickwork. Last up is a rug. I'm not completely sold on this fabric, but it's the only pattern I thought that might work. I'll trim it to size and lightly fray the edges for that finished look. That's the dollhouse living room all finished. I love how the chimney, window and all the little details really brought the space to life. It's amazing how much of a difference those final touches can make. If you enjoyed crafting along with me today, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you would like to see me make next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!